In 2011, an innovative new roller coaster, unlike anything the theme park industry had seen, opened in Arlington, Texas. This, of course, was the new Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas by Rocky Mountain Construction, or RMC. This project renovated the aging and maintenance-heavy wooden coaster Texas Giant by replacing all of the wooden track with new steel I-box track, using the existing support system to create an entirely new layout. This new attraction was a massive success, and RMC would go on to convert many other outdated wooden coasters into state-of-the-art hybrid coasters over the next decade plus. In 2013, the company built its first ground-up coaster, the wooden coaster Outlaw Run at Silver Dollar City in Missouri. They would go on to build many other ground-up coasters using wood, steel, and hybrid structures. However, in 2016, the company debuted its most ambitious project yet, with the world's first launched wooden coaster, Lightning Rod, at Dollywood in Tennessee. This project was so ambitious that the ride experienced many maintenance issues and downtime in its early years, even allegedly being closed more than it was open. To remedy this, many changes were made to the ride system, including replacing most of the wood track with steel track and replacing the original trains with lighter ones. Most recently, the launch system was replaced with a traditional lift hill, and it seems that Dollywood and RMC have finally found a solution to the problems and are able to keep the coaster operational. As a parallel to Lightning Rod's history, the RMC company has evolved in a similar way over the years. So what does the history of Lightning Rod mean for the future of RMC? Let's compare the history of the innovative company with its most infamous coaster and find out. On June 13, 2016, Lightning Rod opened to the public. It was the world's first and only launched wooden coaster, standing 165 feet tall, hitting a top speed of 73 miles an hour, and having 3,800 feet of track. It was already experiencing problems, as its original opening date was pushed back 3 months from March 15th, and just days after its official opening, it was closed again for nearly 3 months, until becoming fully operational on September 5th. These early closures were due to operation and maintenance issues, as well as a recall of a mechanical part by RMC used on several of its coasters. However, Lightning Rod would operate somewhat normally for the rest of the 2016 season. For RMC overall, 2016 was its biggest year yet in its 5 years history of building roller coasters. In addition to Lightning Rod, 3 other coasters would open: Storm Chaser at Kentucky Kingdom, Joker at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, and Wildfire at Kolmården Zoo in Norrköping, Sweden. Storm Chaser and Joker were I-box conversions of existing structures, replacing existing wooden track with new steel track. However, Wildfire would be built from the ground up with all new wooden track and supports. It would open as the tallest and fastest wooden coaster in Europe, with a height of 180 feet and a top speed of 71.5 miles an hour. This ambitious coaster would be problematic in its first year, but for completely different reasons than Lightning Rod. The ride opened to the public on June 28, 2016, but would close 4 months later, on October 28th, due to restrictions from the local government. Apparently, the park failed to receive the proper permits to operate a coaster of that size, and the local government cited environmental concerns as a reason for the closure. While it was speculated that the coaster would be torn down completely, the park obtained the proper permits and was able to get a license to operate the coaster, which reopened in June of 2017. 2017 would be a slow year for Rocky Mountain Construction as they dealt with the setbacks of trying to get Lightning Rod and Wildfire fully operational. During this year, Lightning Rod continued to deal with similar operational issues to its opening year. They did not open any new coasters this year. However, they wouldn't be slowing down at all. In fact, they were gearing up for an even bigger year in 2018. 2018 would be the biggest and most ambitious year to date for RMC. They would open a total of 5 roller coasters this year. Twisted Timbers, an iBox conversion of the former wooden coaster Hurler at King's Dominion, would open in March. In May, the company debuted a new coaster model with the all-steel Raptor, a single-rail coaster capable of tight turns, quick drops, and rapid inversions. The first coaster of this model to open would be Wonder Woman Golden Lasso at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. In June, a nearly identical model would open with Railblazer at California's Great America. Another iBox conversion would open in May with Twisted Cyclone at Six Flags Over Georgia, a conversion of the former wooden coaster Georgia Cyclone. Along with their other offerings, RMC's biggest and potentially most ambitious coaster would open that May with Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. This would be their first hyper-hybrid model, a coaster standing at over 200 feet tall with steel track and wooden supports. A coaster of this scale with wooden supports had not been attempted since the infamous Son of Beast opened at Kings Island in 2000. Much like Son of Beast and Lightning Rod, Steel Vengeance would face many operational and maintenance challenges in its opening year. Even on its opening day, there was a minor incident in which 2 trains collided. There were no injuries, but the ride did close for the rest of the day. It reopened the next day and operated with only 1 train for the remainder of the season. Lightning Rod would face similar issues to Steel Vengeance during 2018, leading to extended downtime. It was closed for about 3 months, from July to October, but the reasons for closure were dubious. When it reopened on October 3rd, guests noticed that much of the ride appeared to have been retracked, and the lead cars on the trains were replaced with smaller and lighter ones, probably to reduce stress from the trains on the wooden track. The year 2019 had fewer offerings from RMC, with only 3 new coasters, but the scale of these coasters was just as immense as their previous projects. The first coaster opened in March of that year with Hakuge at Nagashima Spa Land in Japan. In spite of the issues with Steel Vengeance, this structure would be nearly as tall at 180 feet, and like Steel Vengeance, it would be an iBox conversion of an existing coaster. But the existing structure was made much taller in the case of Hakuge and Steel Vengeance. In July, Untamed would open at Wallaby Holland, another iBox conversion of a wooden coaster. It's more of a mid-sized coaster, standing at 120 feet tall. Over the previous year, RMC had spent a lot of time reflecting on the design flaws of their first hyper-hybrid, so they were able to produce another in August of that year with Zadra at Poland's Energylandia. Although a storm caused damage to the structure during construction, the damage was repaired and the coaster opened in the same year. Rather than working with an existing structure, Zadra was built from the ground up, a first for an RMC iBox coaster. It would also use a vibration damping system to reduce the high-frequency vibrations and help to mitigate maintenance issues. 2019 for Lightning Rod would be a year in which it would operate relatively normally. It would still go down frequently during operating days, but was not closed for extended periods of time like in 2016 and 2018. In 2020, the pandemic seemed to put a halt to many of RMC's projects that year, as many new coasters were rumored, but none were built. With this downtime and their nearly 10 years of experience building roller coasters, they perhaps would focus their attention on Lightning Rod again, this time to make a significant change. In September 2020, Lightning Rod would close early for the season so that track work could be done. Though, instead of replacing the old wooden track with new wooden track, the new track would be steel iBox track. Over half of the wood track would be replaced with steel, making some people to now consider the ride a hybrid coaster rather than wooden. Although all of their coasters are still operating, RMC has only 3 wooden coasters remaining. with the newest built being Wildfire. Lightning Rod would open again in March 2021, and in the following years would improve slightly in its reliability, but would still face a lot of downtime. In 2021 and 2022, more Raptor models would open, including Wonder Woman Flight of Courage at Magic Mountain and Jersey Devil at Great Adventure. In 2022, RMC would produce yet another hyper hybrid with Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa. This was originally scheduled to open in 2020, but was delayed for 2 years until March of 2022 due to the pandemic and other technical issues that seem to come with experimental coasters of this scale. In 2023, RMC would open its first iBox conversion coaster other than Iron Gwazi since 2019 with Wildcat's Revenge at Hershey Park. It would also open the long-awaited Air Force One, a ground-up, all-steel iBox coaster at Fun Spot, Atlanta. This roadside park was recently purchased by Fun Spot and is certainly an unusual location for a coaster of this size. What's interesting about this project with Fun Spot is that it perhaps gave RMC a chance to expand their company horizontally, branching out into other aspects of the industry. Also in 2023, RMC had a project at Fun Spot Atlanta's sister location in Kissimmee, Florida, where they retracked an existing wooden coaster by another manufacturer with their own steel track. By 2023 in Lightning Rod's history, maintenance issues were still frequent, in spite of all the modifications made over the years. Because of this, RMC and Dollywood had to make a hard decision and make a drastic change to the ride if they wanted to keep it operational or otherwise tear it down. In the fall of 2023, the decision was made to forfeit the status of Lightning Rod as the world's only launched wooden coaster, and the launched incline at the start of the ride was replaced by a traditional chain lift. The new Lightning Rod would open in March of 2024 and would prove to be much more reliable than its previous iterations. Although many Lightning Rod's fans and coaster enthusiasts preferred the wilder ride experience of the launched version, the new version is able to maintain nearly the same intensity aside from the launch, and is now capable of putting through many more riders due to the drastically reduced downtime. As for RMC's other projects in 2024, their only new coaster to open this year is the remake of Fire in the Hole, a family coaster / dark ride at Silver Dollar City. RMC has made a name for themselves with their more extreme coasters, but this is the first time they have designed a coaster that is targeted towards families with children. Of course, the opening of Fire in the Hole comes after the announcement of their new family coaster model, the Wild Moose, in the fall of 2023. So, following along the history of Lightning Rod and the company RMC as a whole, let's take a guess at what the future of RMC may look like. For the immediate future, it looks like the company is finally going to open some of the long-rumored Raptor models at various parks. One is going to a park in South Korea scheduled to open in late 2024, and another is scheduled to open in 2025 at Lost Island in Iowa. In addition to these, a dueling Raptor is scheduled to open at Wallaby Holland in 2025. One side of the duel is designed to be a more extreme experience, while the other is intended to be a more family-oriented experience. The iBox conversions that made RMC famous have slowed down since their peak of 3 iBox coasters in 2018. However, it can't be ruled out that more of these are in their future. With the recent opening of Wildcat's Revenge in 2023, and with other wooden coasters reaching the end of their service life, I'm almost certain that more of these will open within the next 5 to 10 years. Although, another aspect that might slow down the production of iBox coasters is the retracking of existing wooden coasters with steel track. Some parks may choose to retract the existing layout of those coasters with new steel track, and instead of designing an entirely new layout with an iBox conversion. With the rise of family-oriented attractions at many parks, the it's likely that the Wild Moose model will debut at a park in the near future. With the new Raptor models scheduled to open next year, it seems that other parks will catch on and fill in empty real estate with a small footprint coaster that still packs a punch. Finally, the merger of RMC with Larson, known for their Larson Loop flat rides in 2023, could produce some interesting results. This could potentially allow RMC to expand further horizontally by producing flat rides. This could also allow them to introduce new elements to their coasters, such as a vertical loop. While many of RMC's new projects appear different than those that they have become famous for, they have been able to stay successful by evolving and innovating throughout the years. I think the company will stay around for many years to come, whether that means they will produce 500-foot T-Rex coasters or fireball rides at county fairs. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts on the future of RMC. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on my next voyage.